Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rita Borenstein, and that's also the name of my channel. The theme I've chosen is Passion for the Soul. Here I record videos about my own work as Life Between Life facilitator here in Sweden since over 10 years, and I also interview guests. Some of my videos are in Swedish and some are in English. Today I'm going to talk about regression to childhood and to the time in the mother's womb. That's a fantastic kind of hypnotherapy, I believe, and it's all included in the Michael Newton hypnotherapy way, which back in the days Michael Newton created to go to life between life state, to be in touch with one's own soul. I recorded two previous videos about life between life hypnotherapies and also past life hypnotherapy. And I will put a link below to those two videos. So what is so special with hypnotherapy, and why have I chosen and have such passion to work with hypnotherapy and to invite clients? And I've seen so many clients and also done many sessions myself with talented hypnotherapists and also colleagues in the Michael Newton Institute. Well, there are three criteria for an authentic hypnotherapy experience. That is that when in deep hypnosis you have no experience of the passing of time or actually knowing about place. So it's all in the now. And when you experience, for example, a childhood memory or a past life memory or something else, the second criteria is then that it feels very true to you. It feels, you get a physical experience from the sensation of being a child or being a past life identity. So this is quite special with hypnotherapy, that you have first no experience or time while in hypnosis, neither space, and secondly, you feel it as very real. And the third is you can also access a lot of emotions and feel emotions and also other physical sensations. So there are many other criteria too, and also for me as an hypnotherapist to know if my client is in a deep hypnotic state. There are, of course, several different levels of relaxation and hypnosis, but to go to a childhood memory, which I will talk about today, and also to the time in the mother's womb, is part of the so-called warming up, which Dr. Michael Newton, who created the Life Between Life hypnotherapy method, used as a warming up, just similar to going into a marathon or something else that you need to prepare and to kind of warm up. So going to childhood memories and to the time in the mother's womb and then to a past life is a part of the warming up. And then you go to a death moment in the past life and then cross over to spirit world and to afterlife, and that's where the Life Between Life hypnotherapy session starts. But today I will focus on regression to childhood. And you can, of course, do a kind of therapy session, and I often do as well, separate sessions to release childhood traumas or emotions somehow stuck in your body, to give you all sorts of physical symptoms or anxiety or fear or something like that. But what I most of the time use as a method to go to childhood memories is to go to pleasant memories or neutral or happy memories. And when I work with hypnotherapy, I use something called suggestions. And that is a way to, for example, tell my clients after they are already in a deep relaxed state that now we will go back in time to your childhood and you will only remember positive, neutral, or happy memories. And strangely enough, it seems that the client then prefers somehow to tell me only happy or neutral or positive childhood memories. And why did Michael Newton, in his method, prefer to suggest to go to happy memories and not to trauma memories? Because that you can do as well. That's another kind of therapeutic process. But to go to happy memories is because when you remember happy memories deep in your relaxed state, you will go deeper into relaxation, and then it is possible then to regress into an even earlier age, and also later, we will come to that later, the time in the mother's womb. So I use a lot of counting when I work with hypnotherapy with my clients. And for example, if we then would do a childhood regression, we will do the preparation like I do with all clients to talk about the reason for consulting me, and they would have filled in a form about their health, state of health, and other things that I ask everybody who come for session with me. And then when they arrive, we talk for a while and I listen to the client and we go a bit deeper to prepare for the session. And in case it's only a childhood state, if it's a hypnotherapy to focus on childhood, then we talk about focus on the childhood, and obviously, and we then start the relaxation first and then go to early memories slowly and step by step. And it is like looking for the soul memories the client then naturally remembers and tell me, and then I would ask further questions, and then I would know from my conversation with the client before the session what kind of questions the client has. For example, why can I never relax really deeply? Or why is there a fear always when I'm among a lot of people, and stuff like that. That would be some kind of therapeutic questions. And going then to childhood memories, we can then choose from the start together. Will we go to only happy, positive, neutral memories, or will we ask for trauma memories, which will be then another kind of therapeutic process? So depends on what the client wants, really. But we always do all these childhood regressions from creating first a safe place, a safe space for the client to be deeply relaxed and confident and have faith in the process. So if someone is afraid or is deeply traumatized, I usually suggest we go to happy, positive memories to build resources and then to go further on, because otherwise it could be a scary experience for the client, and this we don't want, of course. We want only to build resources, at least I do with my clients, to build resources and to bring about healing in all sorts of ways. I'd like to tell you about a very early memory that I had during this kind of childhood regression. when I was I was still a baby then, and I experienced so vividly and clearly and emotionally how I was with my father on his arm, and I was kind of, my head fit into his armpit. And so I must have been pretty small. And in the hypnosis, I could kind of sense his body odor, and I just loved it. And it made me so relaxed and so happy. My father is dead since 1986, but I loved my father. So that kind of session helped me realize what this kind of regression into childhood memory can do, and to deeply heal. I also went to a memory once in a hypnotherapy session, another session when I was sitting on the floor. I think I must have been 2 or 3 years old, and my mother was close to me, and I felt utterly bored. I don't know if a child can feel bored, but I sensed I was bored, and I said, "Mom, I don't know what to play. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know what to do." And in the hypnosis, I remember my mother didn't know what to do either. She couldn't pick me up, or she wouldn't pick me up, or make it fun somehow. And that session healed me deeply, because I believe at that point I decided that it's all up to me to make life fun, not to depend on anybody else to make it fun for me. And of course, I enjoy being with others and we have fun, but it was some kind of deep, deep memory which made sense to me at the time when I felt quite depressed. So one can use childhood regression to many, many things, and it is the purpose which is the most important thing. So if we go to many childhood memories, for example, I had a client the other day, a 70-year-old man, who was very, very, very sad because he lost his wife, who he had been married to for 40 years. So it was such a shock for his system to live by himself now. And it's quite some time since she passed, but I could sense from the start he was crying a lot. And then when we went to childhood memories, he remembered a lot of memories. He had a lot of memories with his grandma, sitting with his grandma, feeling so loved, and other such things. And he told me afterwards, we did many other things during the session too, but he said he felt a relief, a kind of relief, because he kind of built resources and felt really loved. And also it was a very happy marriage, so he could realize some things altogether during the session. But the childhood memories seem to be really important for him to start building resources again, to see what kind of life he wants to live now. And he didn't think he would want to do anything, but he has, well, some energy now, and it was lovely to do this session with him, and where childhood memories was a big part of the session. He didn't do a life between life session actually, or past life really either. He went to a past life, but that didn't seem to lead anywhere, but he had some insights there too. So I love these childhood regressions, because it seems that that's when the client gets in touch with their own soul. Our childhood seems to be very, very connected to our soul, and our start in life is who we actually are. And also, getting older, we can heal a lot of traumas and trapped emotions through hypnotherapy. So when we go to childhood memories, there comes a moment where I decide to ask the client, would it be okay now to go to the time in the mother's womb? And that is often a moment when they are in touch with their mother in a deep and loving way. Not everybody have a deep and loving relationship with their mother and didn't have either from the beginning. And that is revealed also in a situation like this, because I softly ask, how would it be to go to your time in your mother's womb now? And some people say, no, I don't want to. And some people say, yes, I'd love to, or something like that. And then they have already experienced what it's like to be very, very small and very, very young. And we had 2 or maybe, 2.5 hour session already or something like that. So they're pretty warmed up. And we've been talking and bonding and all that. So they feel safe and confident to go to the time of the mother's womb. And this I experienced many times myself in all the 8 or 9 Life Between Life sessions I've done, and also spontaneously going into the time in my mother's womb, and a lot of things were revealed. But what I usually do with the client then is that I have some suggestions then, and also other things I tell the client to prepare for this kind of questions, which would start with, okay, so now you're in your mother's womb and you've been there for a while. Would you like to share with me how you feel? And I would ask also, does it feel tight in there? Can you move, or how is it? And then they would be almost, like it would be the most normal question in the world. And they would say, no, I can move still, or I'm stuck, soon time to be born, I'm eager to be born, or I'm hesitant to be born. Many, many things like that. It sounds really strange that the client would answer these kind of questions. That not everybody have done any research or read about that it's possible to go into such a deep relaxed state and to remember the time in the mother's womb. And then I would check if the client is okay further with some further questions. And then I would ask about the feeling about the mother. I don't ask everybody about the feeling because not everybody go through their emotions. They are maybe more a thinking type or a physical kind of sensation type. But I would ask, could you share with me what you perceive about this woman who is about to give birth to you soon? And they would say something like, oh, she feels nervous, or she feels scared, or she feels very relaxed, or she feels very happy, or she doesn't have support. They know all sorts of things all of a sudden. And I remember also when I was in this kind of state, I just knew a lot of things, which I could, of course, not prove. And I had some information, of course, from my mom, from her giving birth to me. But so deeply relaxed, there's no thinking involved, really. So I would just say, or the client would just say whatever comes. Then I would ask some things about the mother further on. And when they tell me a little bit more about the mother, I would tell them also, now it's time to talk about you and your new hosting body, which would be then the person who will be born soon and the person who is on my couch, deeply relaxed in a hypnotic state. And I would ask something like, can we now talk about your new hosting body? They say yes or no, or I don't know. If they say I don't know, I wouldn't go further on. I would just ask, I would ask maybe, can you just tell me whatever comes to you now in this state? And they would tell me a lot of things sometime, because my questions might hinder them from spontaneously tell me whatever they feel or sense or know. So I just want to have some kind of ease about it, not to force my client into anything. So then I would ask maybe at which time during your mother's pregnancy do you incarnate? Do you, as a soul, connect with your hosting body? Is it in the beginning or the middle or the end? I would ask, maybe to help them a little. And they would say then in the beginning or the middle or 3 months or 4 months or whatever. So this is just a warming up in the womb then. And I would feel, and I guess the client too, if it feels authentic and natural, what they answer, because no one would know, of course, the real deal. But the client is all into the moment, and it feels fantastic to watch. So I go on with my questions, and I ask, okay, so you incarnated, you decided to work with the new hosting body, the new fetus, from this or that time. And do you go in and out in the fetus, or do you stay? I would ask too. And then they would say, no, I go in and out because I want to check the environment around my mother. And some people say I go back to soul home to rest in between, because it's quite a transition this. So I need to speak with my guides, or I want to be in soul home a little bit to prepare. And then I ask, so at what time, or if ever, do you then connect with your hosting body, who will soon be born? And then they say, well, I stay after 7th month or something like that. So they would be quite exact most often. So they go all into this, and it seems that they change their voice, speak much slower, and go into a lower pitch with their voice too. And I go more slowly as well when we come to this stage, because we're preparing now for deeper states in case we're going to continue to past life or to life between life. So if this would be a womb regression only, then it would be a few hours as well, and we would warm up also from childhood memories and then stay in the womb period for some time to figure out, for example, questions like why incarnate in this particular mother, why this father, why this environment, why, and maybe all other questions that the client has. So it depends on the client always what they prefer. So then we would come to the end of the session when it seems that the client is satisfied and happy. So we would just conclude with a few questions, and then we would end the session. And these sessions are very, very healing and satisfying. And I deeply recommend this kind of session for someone who is emotionally unstable in a way, not super unstable, of course, but emotional, very emotional. And it could be trapped emotions then already from, time in the mother's womb, picking up the mood of the mother, picking up other things, because if you're an empath, a lot of things can affect a person. So everything is connected, of course. Someone would know if something comes from this or that, but always in hypnotherapy, one thing leads to another, and it's very, very rewarding to have these keys to your inner world, and especially your emotional life, which is actually your connection to your soul as well. Okay, so thank you for listening today, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel in case you are interested in my topics. And if you send a like or a comment, that would be lovely because it helps me spread my messages. So thank you for listening today, and wish you all well. Bye-bye.